Well, if you've ever thrown your back out or you've got chronic back pain or back problems, you know how painful it could be. Keeping your back strong all the time is the key to eliminating that pain. And joining me now is Dr. Ken Hansrush. Ken, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
So you're a spine surgeon.
Yes.
All right, so one of the big things you talk about is prevention. So let's say you see someone coming to your office. What are some of the basic things you tell them, to avoid back problems?
I tell people that you need to be aware that you have a spine. You need to be thoughtful about it. So when you know that you have a spine and you need to protect it because 4 out of 5 people do have or will have a significant spinal problem, then you need to do the exercises and get into the postures and take care of yourself.
Right, so slouching around in your chair and lifting heavy objects without thinking out your back is kind of like not too smart.
That's right, yes.
Okay, so one of the things you recommend is yoga. Why yoga?
Yoga is probably the best thing you could do for your spine. It provides strength, flexibility, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing in many, many ways.
What's interesting to me is all the research, all the data that's come out on yoga in the medical literature showing really how powerful this practice is. So we have Marcia over here who's going to demonstrate some poses. Hi, Marcia. So she's going to demonstrate some poses for us, and we're going to go through a couple, and you explain to us how this strengthens the back. So let's start with the first one called child pose. Is that what it's called, child pose? Okay. How does this work your back?
In child pose, she's in a forward flexion position. You can see it's a gentle position where she's just stretching her back, and it just feels good. And it just is a relaxing position. It just feels good.
So this is a relaxing position. So
everyone should be able to do.
Everyone should be able to do this. Okay.
Because what happens, Dr. Steve, is that when you're in the forward positioning, you're opening up the spinal channels, and you're actually creating more space for the nerve roots to exit and the spinal cord to be. And so this is really great for most people.
Most people. Okay, let's move on to the next pose, which is downward dog. This one, how does this help your spine?
Downward dog, actually, as you can see it, you're really stretching your entire lower extremity, and you're stretching out your back. And also, again, you're in what's called a flexion position. It opens up the channels, and you have more space for the spinal cord and more space for the nerve roots. So really feels good.
Okay, and so these look fairly easy. I mean, I'm thinking I could probably do that, although I'd probably be in a fair amount of pain. Next after this is something called cobra. What is that?
Well, the cobra position, you start to get into an extension. Your head lifts up, and your back is closing down. The difficulty or the problem or the challenge with this is that lots of times when the back closes down, then you're closing the channel in the spinal channel. So you could have pain if you have stenosis or herniated disc.
Okay.
So therefore, the way to gauge against that is not just use your facet joints, but to use your arms and rely on your muscles.
All right, we don't want to overwork Marcia over here. I want to make it last the whole segment. Okay, after this we have something called the seated twist, and she's going to demonstrate that. Explain to me how that works. Again, so far I'm thinking most people could do this. Oh, I do this when I stretch after I work out. This is a yoga pose.
The seated twist allows you to internally massage and move the organs. So, for example, the liver, which detoxifies the body, and the pancreas, right? You can mechanically move them and help your body to detoxify itself.
Wow, so you do the left side, and then would you turn to the right? There you go.
Yes.
Okay, good. Wow, see, I'm actually doing yoga after my workout, not even realizing it. Okay, all right, Marcia, thanks so much. Dr. Ken Hunter.
And the changes are profound. It just protects your spine like you would not.
Over what kind of period of time?
I would do this over your life. I would do an hour or two a week.
An hour or two a week, and when would you see results?
You would see results quickly.
Okay.
Let's say in 2 to 3 weeks, you should feel better, stand better. You should see results quickly.
All right, Dr. Hendricks, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you.
You know you've made one, but how do you make sure your New Year's resolution is going to stick this time? Well, you may have to get much more assertive in asking for what you want. Joining me now is Laura Fredericks. Laura, you've had a very successful career, and you know how to get what you want. So what's the trick?
Trick is know exactly what you want, and if you can use some numbers, it counts. Like, I'll give you an example. Right now it's a new year. People might want to think about a raise, a promotion, some time off, and they think magically it's going to happen because they do all this great work, comes the end of the year, and they're going to get it, but they never do ask for it.
Right, they get disappointed, right, when they don't get it, but like, so they say, okay, well, that, and they always do this, they talk to their partner, right, they talk to their spouse, like, oh, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to. But when it comes down to it, they don't know how to do it. So
Right.
how do you do it? Like, how do you comfortably walk into your boss's office and say, I need a promotion?
Good thing is, number one, practice in front of a mirror and standing up. That's my first trick.
Okay.
Number two is think about the first sentence. Why is it important to you? So you start off with the first thing. Steve, I thought long and hard about this. This is very important to me. Second sentence is, what is it that you want? 2 days off, $5,000 raise with numbers. And the third is, I'd like to work with you this together because it's very important to me. Can we talk about it? So it's a 1, 2, 3.
All right, 1, 2, 3. But should you go in there with a backup plan? Should you go in there with the ultimatum? Should you say, listen, if I don't get these 2 weeks, then
Right.
I'm done. I'm out of here.
Right. Now, I wouldn't think of alternative as good, and I like to think of, okay, Dr. Steve, what's your response is going to be to me? There's a budget, I can't do it, I'm not, and all that creates anxiety. So the way to relieve anxiety, to have your sympathetic nervous system calm and not create stress, is anticipate the response and then be ready.
How do you counter that, though? When they say, listen, we can only go this far. I mean, do you just walk out and go, all right.
No, I've got a great word for you.
Yeah, how do you do
Say, okay, can we revisit this another time? So don't take no for an answer, because he didn't really say, or she didn't really say no. She said budgets, this and this, but you're hearing no. They say no, not now. So I say, use the word revisit and say, can I talk about this with you in about a month or 2 weeks or whatever it is, so you keep it alive until it's absolutely no, Dr. Steve, not going to happen, impossible, please leave. That's a no.
Please leave. Okay, I'll go with that. A funny thing, someone told me once a negotiating tip for numbers, like if you're negotiating a number, is to not to say the number, but to write it down on a piece of paper. So he says, I was thinking about this, and you write it down, slide it across the table. Good idea? Not with your boss.
No.
No.
Think about it. Would you want to give me a raise if I'm sitting here and using your lovely piece of paper and slipping it out? What is it? Is it important to me? No. Is it out in the open? No. So it's all about empowering yourself and doing the ask. And I have to say, when you ask, that's the win. Don't think of the response. Think, I did it. I feel good.
Right, yeah, because if you don't, it's so stressful, right?
It is.
And it
And
makes
think of what
you
stress
angry.
does. You eat wrong, you sleep wrong, you get nervous, your skin, whatever. You erase that.
But what about your personal life, though? Because that's different.
That
right?
is
Whole
to
different
me, that
ballgame.
is the hardest ask. Let's say you're in a relationship where you're not, it doesn't matter, but you want a day off to go out with the men or the women, you want a day off for the gym or something like that. How do you say to the person, honey, I love you to death?
That's how
And
I start.
that's a good one. That's a good one. And then you ask, it is important to me to have one day to go to the gym. Is it okay if we just get takeout or cook ahead of time, whatever? So you see, the third part was the solution. So you're not just throw it out and say, Dr. Steve, I haven't gone to the gym. And that's the way they think people ask. That's not an ask. See, this is important to me. I think we both know we both want to be healthy. So I'm going to go to the gym. Maybe you want to come with me. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do in the back end. But you've included them in it and know that it's important to you and ask for it.
Well, what if you don't want to include them in it? I mean, this is not personal or anything, but what if you don't? What if it's something you want to do on your own, but you're afraid that your partner is going to be offended?
Right.
Why doesn't he want to hang out with me on the time off we have?
Right.
You know, maybe he or she just needs some private time.
Right.
How do you get over that?
You said it exactly. Say, it's important to me to have some private time. Healthy relationships need healthy space. So on Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to do that, and I really appreciate if you support me.
Do you really have nothing to lose?
You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, because it's going to carry with you long, long time. It's not just about this conversation. Then suddenly you're going to take it out on your partner and say, okay, well, the laundry's sitting there.
Yeah.
And you're aggravated, and it snowballs.
Right, it snowballs and you get resentment. It doesn't get you anywhere. So just always ask. Laura, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks,
Some great
Dr.
information.
Steve.
Really fun. I'm going to try
Fantastic.
some of this stuff at home.
Okay.
All right, coming.